Hi, this is James Ing with Old Capital, and I am here with Lawrence to talk about soccer and talk about real estate. I love the background, appreciate you
Thanks.
sticking with the theme for this
Yes.
year's conference over at FC Dallas. So we'll be over there in about a month at the conference. I appreciate you guys. You're going to be out there as a sponsor. Um, so maybe to kick it off, give people your background, tell us about the company, and then we'll get into a little bit of what we're seeing out there in the market on the management side.
Okay. As James said, I am Lawrence. I am currently the president of Protea Real Estate. In case anybody's wondering, the Protea is actually a tropical flower. My dad named it after that, and you find them in South Africa and throughout the tropics as well. So,
All right.
and
And
we
then,
are a property management company. So we come in, we will look after your property and make sure it's working and functioning as it should.
okay. And then, are you guys only in DFW or do you go all over Texas or where sort of majority of the properties that you guys manage?
Currently, the majority of the properties we manage, as far as apartments are concerned, are in the DFW area.
Okay.
We do have one retail center, which I believe is out in Katy,
Okay. In
but the
Houston.
rest of
Yeah.
them are in the DFW area currently.
Okay. All right. And then what's the typical, are you guys doing A, B, C? Are you doing 50 units, 200 units? What's your typical deal property management size?
Typically, as far as the property class goes, look, we've got right now, I think we've got 2A and I think I'd say 3C,
Okay.
but we have done across the board everything from lease up, so brand new A, B, and C, so it's nothing new to us.
Okay.
And the smallest one we have right now is 100 apartments, and the largest is around 192,
Okay.
but we have managed up to almost 300 as well.
So talk to me about, so we work with a lot of clients that in the heyday of 21 and 22, they were trying to buy 300, 400 unit deals because equity was relatively easy to get. So they were like, well, I just buy the biggest thing that I can buy. And
Right?
I've got debt and equity to do it. But now in today's market, it's almost the opposite. Everyone's like, hey, I can raise $3 million or $4 million. So I'm gonna buy a $10 million deal, and that might get you like 100 units. So talk to me about the management challenges at 100 units versus 200, and then maybe even going up to 300. Because I feel like that's almost where you start with two people at 100, then you
Yes.
go to four, then you go to six. So what's the sweet spot in terms of for you as the manager, a third party manager, and for the general partner, just in terms of cost on these deals?
Yeah, it's like you're saying with the smaller apartments, like for example, the one that we have that's 100,
Yeah.
I believe we just have one maintenance person and one manager.
Yeah, one in, one out.
That's
Okay.
it.
Yep.
And on the one that's 192, we have, I believe, a manager, I think an assistant manager, leasing agent, and a one full-time maintenance person.
Okay. Yep.
When we did have the ones that were 278, yeah, we had to have more people in the office. We had a manager, I think an assistant manager, maybe one or two leasing agents, and two maintenance personnel.
Is there
So,
any, so like this is what I always wondered is like, okay, so I've got the 100 unit deal.
right.
I've got you guys as third party property management. I've got the two people on site every day. But then what if my maintenance guy gets sick or my leasing guy gets sick? Then there's nobody there for 3 or 4 days. Like I feel like I have no backup. Like what happens in that situation?
So we're actually fortunate in that we had come down a little bit, but we have one maintenance guy who's not attached to any one given property.
Okay.
So
It's like a
if
rover a
something
little bit.
if something like that were to happen, let's say if we were managing your property,
Yeah.
you just had the one maintenance guy, and for example, I'm going to use Spicewood, we have one maintenance guy there.
Yeah.
When he went on vacation, we had our floating maintenance guy take
Floating
over
guy.
for the
Okay.
week. And
Okay.
it would be the same if somebody got sick. We'd just move him over for a week. The regular maintenance comes back, and then it's back to business as usual.
Okay.
So you
All
wouldn't
right.
really miss a beat at all.
Okay. That makes me feel better that nobody will be there. And then, so I guess is okay. So I get the one in, one out at 100 units. When you go from 200 to 300 units, though, is there a benefit on the cost side? Because I feel like, let's say payroll is 1,500 a door. If I add additional 100 units, does it really help, or is it about the same from going
You
from
probably,
200 to 300?
you probably about make that the same. You may
About
get
the
a little
same.
bit more cost, a little bit additional cost
Cost
saving,
save. Okay.
but at that point, we'd probably need an assistant maintenance person
Right.
just because there's just so many doors.
Yeah.
That one person I know on one of the properties we used to manage, and we actually saw that one of them was the guy that was AC certified was so busy taking care of the ACs,
Right.
we needed somebody else just to do all the other regular maintenance on the
The make
property as
ready,
well.
just the one-off, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
repairs and stuff. Okay. Thank you for going down that rabbit hole, but because I see like when I'm talking with brokers nowadays, everybody was pitching the 40, $50 million deal. Now everyone's pitching the $10 million deal. So we're getting more inquiries in that smaller space. And so I think just everybody's question is, well, how are you going to manage it? Right. So
Right.
um, okay, and then so what are you seeing? I think I saw a slide, I think it was Real Page or a market report just on, usually during the summer, rents are growing compared to maybe the winter months, but this summer was a little different. They said it was essentially flat on a lot of properties. So tell us about sort of what you're seeing at your properties and sort of the traffic that's coming in.
Yeah. On most of the properties other than Spiceworks, we are doing renovations there. So
Okay.
obviously going to be a rent bump on the renovated
Yeah, the rehab unit,
units.
sure.
On the other properties, rents pretty much stayed about the same.
Okay.
And we're seeing occupancies remaining about the same
Okay.
in some of the properties. And Spicewood's been doing really well. I've got one other
Is that a
one
lease
that,
up or what is that? What is that
no,
property?
it's
It's like
Spicewood's been around for about 15 years.
okay, all right.
But it's a very well maintained property.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
we've had some people even compared, even though nowadays due to age be class B, some people have said since it's so well maintained, it's close to could almost be a class A.
Class A deal. Sure. Okay.
And then we've seen other properties drop a little bit in occupancy, but that's just because of where their location is and their clientele.
Okay. So, I guess what are you doing in terms of I think the two big things that people have been asking me about is really like occupancy and collections. So, any tips on those two items for people?
Well, occupancy is really based on your office staff and how well your office staff is and how well, oh, bless you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And how well I'd say your maintenance staff is. Your maintenance, most people don't realize they're the key to people renewing.
Hmm.
We've
Okay.
had some people at most of the properties renew for 10, 15, even up to 30 years on some of the properties, and that's because maintenance. The office staff can be great, but if maintenance is not, they are going to find as soon as the lease is up, they're going to be moving and finding to move somewhere else.
Yeah, because you might talk to that leasing person once when you sign the
Yes.
lease, but then you're with the maintenance guy for like 10 years, right?
Yes. Especially since most places, and if they're like us, are going to more of a paperless to where everything's being signed electronically, where they don't even have to send a lease, they don't even have to come to the office to sign anymore. And on another property, the office staff is very involved. They do resident events and they do
Hmm.
them really well all the time, and that helps as well.
What do you think the most impactful resident events are right now?
Well, on one of the properties, I know they've been doing everything from your regular pool party
Hmm.
to having food trucks.
Okay.
I think they've done like Easter egg hunts. They've done, I think, back to school events. So have people come in and drop off school supplies.
Do you think
That's
that drives retention, or what do you think, or like the stickiness of tenants in terms of doing these events, or is it just it feels more like a community, so people have like one or two neighbors, they know the neighbors, they know they have friends, maybe ask friends to move in. What do you think those events
yeah,
do?
I think it does. I think it helps does create a better sense of community.
Right,
You do get to meet the people that you're living either next door or just two doors down, or could be above you or below you.
right.
You may otherwise never see them
Hmm.
in
Yeah.
in today's world. You may see them maybe going to their car and that's about it, and or never see them at all. So I think it does help create that sense of community that some people are looking for.
Are there any, I know you said majority of your multi is here in Dallas or Dallas
Yes.
DFW. Are there any markets that let's say a nice way of saying like overperforming and then underperforming? Let's say the occupancy in Dallas Fort Worth, I don't know, right now is let's say 92%. I'm just gonna make that up. I don't know exactly what it
Right.
is. Um, are there some markets that are doing better right now and others that are maybe underperforming in your portfolio?
Let's see, I'd say Spicewood is probably overperforming right now.
What submarket is that in?
That's Carrollton.
Carrollton. Okay. All right.
Carrollton, yeah. And it's doing really well, which is a good thing because it's not, it's still, even though it's in Carrollton, it's in Dallas County.
Okay.
So because it's in Dallas County, the kids that go to the high school either have to drive
Hmm.
for the most part, go on a bus, or parents drop them off.
Okay.
It's a little further than the Carrollton Farmers Branch High School.
Okay.
So we have to contend with that. But other than that, that's doing really well. We've got Parkside, which drops a little bit in the summer, but it'll pick up again in the fall because it's close to UTD.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
then our other ones are probably underperforming a little bit right now, and but they're moving up though.
Okay. So let's say I have a property and we sort of so Fannie and Freddie they consider 90% occupancy as sort of like you're stabilized, you can qualify for an
Right.
agency loan. And in 21 and 22, everyone could qualify for an agency loan because everybody was 98% occupied, right? And pushing rents and
Right.
everything. So, but we've run into some situations where, people are hanging around 85, 87, and they just can't, I feel like they can't get over that hump into 92, 93%. Um, any recommendations for those people? Because I feel like there's a lot more properties in that situation right now,
Yeah.
and it makes it hard, number one, to refinance because you can't get out of your bridge loan into agency because you're not 90%. And then also, if you're going to sell the property, the new buyer can't come in and do an agency loan as well. And so you're not going to get the price that you're wanting if you have to do, a more expensive bridge loan. So, what's your advice for those people who are sort of stuck on that edge of 87%?
Yeah. Well, I know we've got a cut. We do have maybe one or two that are hovering around there.
Okay.
We had one which was a little bit below, but like I said, it has come up.
Okay.
And what helped was getting the right person in the office.
Okay. The
And the
leasing
right,
or property
well,
manager. Yeah.
the person we have in there does both manager and leasing.
Okay.
So it's getting the right person in the office who knows the community
Hmm.
and knows how to make the community and make the apartments bring them up. And also, you know, maybe you have to spend a little bit more on advertising. Try a little different type of advertising, maybe do a little bit more social media advertising.
Okay.
A lot of more people are going on TikTok now. So
You're doing dances on TikTok to lease the apartment? Like
I haven't. I'm usually the one behind the camera. So
the yeah, I think it's what do you think the most effective form of marketing right now? Let's say for a Class B property in Carrollton. Like what do you think the most effective
uh,
uh
with Spicewood, we've been lucky. We get a lot of drive-by and word of
drive-by?
mouth.
Sure.
But we also are on apartments.com, so that helps.
Okay.
And then I could say we also do social media outreach as well. We do do at least 3 posts to Facebook
Okay.
every week. And then, like I said, we're going to probably start transitioning all the different apartments into just doing fun little, you know, 1 to 2 minute, absolutely, it can be the cheesiest dialogue in the world, ads to put up onto TikTok,
Yeah.
and because that's where people are going nowadays. That
Yeah.
the younger generation, they're looking not necessarily to Facebook or YouTube anymore. I hate to say it, but they're going to TikTok.
Well, it's even when it's like when like this summer, like let's say I was in a new city and I just wanted to find like a restaurant or whatever, I
Right.
wanted somewhere to eat. Like I don't want to click like a 20-minute video on like the history of this country and blah blah blah. You just want like the restaurants, right? And see what it
Yeah.
like and then you're flipping up like, okay, yep, yep, yep. Okay, that looks good. Let's just go there, right? Like that's how
Yeah.
people make decisions. Like they're not
Yeah.
reading the guidebook that's 200
Yeah.
pages, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And also you want to make sure that stuff like we're also going back just quick with Google My Business, you want to make sure that everything's updated, that you've
Mm.
updated the question and answers, and make sure if there are any there that you've got them filled in. You want to make sure that because if somebody's just typing in, and there are still people who are going to go out there and just type apartments in Carrollton.
Yeah. Okay.
You want to make sure you're on the first 2 pages. Most people don't click
No one gets pet to
you're on
page
page
two, I
three
don't
or
think.
four, or
Yeah,
it
yeah,
goes
yeah, yeah.
that deep.
Nobody.
They're looking in either the very first page, the top of the very first page, or maybe the second page at the most, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
it. So you want to
Okay.
make sure that you've moved yourself up on the website, on the web pages as well.
Any comments? I'll leave this open-ended. Any comments on Google reviews?
uh, Gotta love to hate them and hate to love them.
Yeah, it's like some days you love them and then other days you're like, yeah.
So what we've done is we've actually partnered with the company, or we use a company called Bird Eye,
Okay. Yeah.
and the nice thing is we get instant access. So as soon as somebody leaves a Google review,
Mm,
we can respond to them. The
okay.
system will respond automatically to all our 4 and 5 star,
Yeah.
and we trained all the managers and
Managers.
assistant
Yeah.
managers to go in, especially the managers, and especially on the 3 star below, and to answer those back. Because while the person may not go in and change their review,
Right.
having an actual honest answer back at it, it just addresses the problem and is
Yeah.
neutral in
Yeah.
tone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't say we're to blame, you're to blame, try and get them to come into the office or call or email if possible. Not
Right.
always. When people see, oh, it's a 3 star review, oh, but they responded and this is what their response is. Because there's some reviews out there that
Well,
somebody didn't pay their rent
yeah,
and you've
there's no
evicted them and they've left a 1 star review. And that's not fair for
the
the
business.
apartment community.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah.
want to go in and just address it and go from there. Oh, I think you just went out of focus on my
Yeah, I'll
side.
work on it. I'll come in and out. But yeah,
Okay.
no, it was um like even my dad's office in Houston, like someone dropped a 1 star review, but he's like, that person has never come into this office ever,
Yeah.
like it's just so that's why I think as long as you respond, as long as you give good feedback, and I think people they almost now know like they can sort of smell a fake review a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just
Yeah.
like you go every review's 5 stars at this restaurant. Come on. Like
Yeah.
it's
Something's not
impossible.
right.
Yeah, something's not
Yeah.
right. So,
Which is why I think when we signed up with Bird Eye, they said if you've got all 5 star, people aren't
Yeah.
going to believe it. If you've got all 1 star, people probably aren't going to believe that either. The sweet spot is usually between 3.5 and 4
Okay. All right.
is where
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
be. If you can get above 4, that's great.
Great. Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
you're between that 3.5, 4, 4.2, 4.25, you're in a good spot.
Yeah. Okay.
And
All right.
obviously, the more 4 or 5 star reviews you get,
The
the
better.
less
Yeah.
those 1 star reviews count.
Impact. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So we can go down the Google review rabbit hole for a while, but is there anything else? I know we're about 30 days out from the conference, but
Yeah.
anything else that you want to share with the audience just on maybe if stuff you've seen recently or a case study just on, what GPs can be doing right now in today's market to really improve their properties.
I would say, obviously, you want to make sure that the property's kept up, is neat. One of the is if it needs a fresh coat of paint, put the paint on it. We have one owner who should have painted their property about 3 years ago,
Mm,
but got stuck in that analysis paralysis
right.
and took a while. And instead of paying a lesser amount, ended up paying slightly more high amount, but did get the property painted. So a fresh
Yeah.
coat of paint we've done on a few properties can just make the world of difference.
Right. Yeah. Change the whole
Obviously,
look.
making sure that the landscaping is done, and the bushes are trimmed back off of the building, especially when
Mm,
it comes
the big
to
trees and
the
all that.
insect
Yeah.
pests that you
Mm,
don't want to get coming in, and that you don't want them touching the building for
yeah.
that. If you've got a pool, as I can see in your backdrop behind you,
Mm,
you want to make sure that the pool is kept up. And I've seen where some properties have let their pool go green,
mm,
and you never want that because it's going to cost you quite a bit to get it back to where it should be. So you want to keep it looking good year round, even when it can't be used due to the weather.
right.
So
Okay.
just a general upkeep of the property, making sure maintenance orders are closed quickly and efficiently. Obviously,
Mm.
sometimes you need to get parts, and letting the residents know, hey, as soon as we get this part in, it'll be taken care of. But all of that
All right.
is
Let me.
what I'd say.
Okay. So I'll ask you this question from so I've got a lens, and you've got a lens. I've got the financing lens, but like
Right.
when somebody, let's say somebody sends me a package. Um, they got it from the management company. It comes on the 15th of the month. They forward it out to the LPs, and they might forward it to the lender to look at. And I usually look at one number on the T12, one line item on the T12. Okay. When you get that package and somebody's like, hey, Lawrence, what what do you look for? Let's say when you're analyzing a property, maybe you guys are about to take over a property, or they're saying, "Hey,
Right.
can you look at this property and tell me what you would do to sort of put together a new budget?" What do you look at? What's the number one thing that you look at?
Obviously, delinquency. I
Delinquency.
want to,
Okay.
yeah. If
Yeah.
it's very high, then you got to wonder, then I'm like, well, is the manager not going out and knocking on doors when
Collecting rent.
necessary,
Yeah.
or making that phone call to bring the rent in?
Okay.
Are they being hamstrung somehow that they can't go file down at the
Evictions.
court evictions?
Mm.
Somebody
Okay.
keeping them from doing that. Obviously you want to look at the income coming in
Okay.
and the net profit. Make
Right.
sure that the property is bringing in and is not consistently losing
Sure. Okay.
money. So
Yeah, my number one thing is I just look at the T12. I go to last month and look at the net rental. And I want to see the trend from 11 months ago to today, and where have we moved net rental. I mean, you were focused in on delinquency because it don't matter if you're 95% occupied, but you can't collect 15% of the rent, right?
yeah,
Or you've
then
got
you're
to write
actually
it off.
80%
Yeah, 80,
economically
80, yeah,
occupied at that
80%. So,
point.
um, okay, well, we're about a month out, but what's the best way if they have questions about their property for them to reach out to you and learn more about your company and maybe have them put together a pro forma or have you come
Yeah.
take a look at the
Well,
property?
well, my email, it's Lawrence at protearealestate.com.
Okay, we'll put that in the
Always shoot me
description.
an email. We're
Okay.
going to obviously be sponsoring again at the
Yeah.
conference. So come by. Got some fun stuff this year.
Yeah, awesome.
And, so just come by and I'll be there. I'll have my regular team and a few two new team members as well coming to this conference. And we're all there to help answer any questions you may have.
All right, great. Thanks a lot, Lawrence, for jumping on,
Okay.
and we'll see you here in October.
Okay. See you then.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay.